Anna Hoffman sat down today with Goodson's mother and lawyer. Anna?
Jen and Jared, his mother, Tamala Payne, says December 4th is always going to be an emotional day for her. She says Wednesday she did her best to celebrate Casey, even with Mead's second trial looming in February.
No, I still pray, I still lean on God, and I know that eventually we will prevail.
Tamala Payne says the first thing she did Wednesday morning was read through her text messages with her son, Casey Goodson Jr., from 4 years ago that day.
It just said, "I love you," with a whole bunch of emojis.
Hours after those texts were sent, Goodson by former Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Mead.
Of course, I relived that day.
Goodson was shot back 6 times. Mead claims he saw Goodson point a gun at him from his car. Mead followed Goodson to investigate and claims he yelled several times to drop the weapon. Bloody AirPods were found by Goodson's body. A handgun was found too. Goodson had a concealed carry license.
I don't want to continue to allow it to hinder me or my feelings. So I just was like, you know what, on today, we're just going to celebrate Casey.
Payne says Sunday they will hold a celebration of life in his honor. Proceeds made there will go back toward the community. Mead is currently awaiting his second trial after the first ended with a deadlocked jury.
You know, at first it was hard to accept.
Your family has to testify all over again, and they have to listen to a testimony regarding how Casey was killed and, just very gruesome details. And so that part is difficult.
Payne says nothing can truly prepare her to walk back into that courtroom, but every day she prays.
You mentioned earlier that last February just wasn't your time. Do you think that it's your time now?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I told you before, I'll keep my faith and I keep praying, but I believe that year 25 is Casey's victorious year.
Mead's lawyers filed a motion to move the trial out of Franklin County, arguing Mead's name is too well known. There is a hearing scheduled today. I spoke with Mark Collins, his lawyer, and he believes the judge may rule on that motion during the hearing. Payne says she will be there on Thursday.
All right, peace and blessings, ladies and gentlemen. I am Richard Taylor, and I'm back with another case that you probably haven't heard of. Now, this case regards 23-year-old Casey Goodson. Casey Goodson was shot in the back 6 times by Columbus, Ohio officer Jason Mead as he walked in the door of his grandmother's house. Now, this happened on December the 4th, 2020. Yet, the trial and the situation is still going on. Now, earlier this year, in February, the trial in which Mead was charged with 2 counts of unaliving and 1 count of reckless homicide. But the trial ended up in a mistrial because jurors were somehow deadlocked. Now, that trial featured at least 4 particular jurors who were dismissed. But the trial, once again, it centered around Jason Mead's assertion or his testimony that this 23-year-old man just automatically pointed a gun at an officer as the officer rode by. Now, Goodson was on the way back from a dentist appointment, and he was walking. And it was said that the officer followed him because, quote unquote, he feared for his life. Does that sound familiar? Yes, I know it does. So this officer followed him to his grandmother's doorstep. And as Casey Goodson put the key in the door, he was shot 6 times and fell on the floor, the kitchen floor of his grandmother's home. Now, the officer once again alleges that before he walked in the door, he turned around and pointed a gun at the officer. We can't make this up. How many times in these videos that I've done have you heard that same story? Just a random black man just all of a sudden just points a gun at an officer. And the family who was in the home said no, he did not point a gun at the officer. The only thing he had in his hand was a sandwich that he had purchased for relatives and his 5-year-old brother. Now, he also had a pair of AirPods. Some bloody AirPods were found as well. Now, Casey Goodson was a licensed to carry gun owner. And his family said, yes, he carried a gun, but he followed all protocols of being a licensed gun owner. He would not have pointed a gun at the police. And I don't know how many of you guys think, black, white, Mexican, that people are just walking around pointing guns at police officers. More or less a police officer who's just riding by in his car. Nevertheless, the jury, for some reason, could not deliberate. Now, mind you, this officer was not wearing any body cam footage. That's why you are not seeing any footage right here. So this officer knows that he is void of any proof otherwise that Mr. Goodson somehow pointed a firearm at him. Now, once again, this trial was a mistrial early in the year. However, in August of this year, the family did receive a $7 million settlement. Now, we've seen in these cases, families often get paid after charges do not get brought against the officers. Now, this is a rare case where the family got paid before a jury convicted this officer. However, a second trial is scheduled for next year of 2025. I think it's in June. And the officer and his lawyer are requesting that the judge move the trial to a different location, saying that this officer cannot get a fair trial because his name is too well known. Now, we all saw the video from last year, a couple of days ago, about the Ohio officer who unalived Miss Takia Young. Now, you also going to see another video about two Ohio officers that were charged with unaliving Frank Tyson by holding their knee on his neck as he screamed out, "I can't breathe." Sounds familiar? Exactly, George Floyd. So we have these Ohio officers being involved in a lot of situations where, once again, black men and black women are deemed as dangerous. As the mother said, as the mother of Casey Goodson said, as the grandmother of Casey Goodson said, he has been portrayed as a criminal since he was unalived. She said that the only reason that he is deceased is because he is black and his skin has been weaponized. And I agree with those sentiments. Being a black man, we're always a target in this United States of America. So this case will continue because they were not able to reach a verdict. There were several inconsistencies in Meade's testimony. He said that, once again, as he was driving by Casey Goodson turned back and pointed a gun at him, but security footage shows on that corner that he did not. He just continued walking and made a left turn. Also, Meade said that Casey Goodson turned around and ran when Meade started to follow him, but another officer on the scene stated that Goodson merely walked up to his grandmother's house. Now, mind you, when they did, I guess, unalive him, when they found his legally registered holstered gun, it was in a holster and it had the safety on it. So once again, why would this man, this responsible 23-year-old gun owner, just automatically point a gun at a police officer when he is walking into his house? Now, what it was, his gun was one of the guns with the extended clip. So probably this officer saw the gun on his hip, wanted to see, okay, well, you know, this, once again, a black man with a gun is automatically a threat, even if he's a legal owner. So this officer saw this black man with the gun and said, okay, this is an easy kill. I can get about 300 points from this. And right now, once again, the trial is still scheduled. He had 2 unaliving charges. They dropped 1 and they still have the charge on the desk of reckless homicide. Now, we all know reckless homicide is what the 2 officers are charged in the demise of Frank Tyson. That only carries a 3-year sentence and a $10,000 fine. And so, once again, this is a case that we would have to watch. But once again, this young man was shot in the back 6 times. In the back. So how can you point a gun at someone and still get shot in the back? If you were pointing a gun at an officer, you would be hit in the front. And so this is another inconsistency with this story. The family still hopes to receive some justice. Once again, they did receive some compensatory justice in the form of a $7 million lawsuit. But then again, they have to go through this whole grueling trial again with all of the testimony and all of the pain and the hurt that they have to continuously deal with while this matter is being resolved. So, 919-587-7782. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this in the comments.
From local stories to Wayne County news, get ready to dive into everything happening in North Carolina with Taylor House Publishing. Got a story to share? Shoot us an email at taylorpublishinghouse@gmail.com. If you're looking to publish your book or need some top-notch mentorship, we've got your back. Join the excitement with the one and only Richard Taylor, right here at Taylor House Publishing. Speak with Richard directly at 919-587-7782. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and invite your family and friends to watch.
From Wayne County to the Carolina coast, Taylor House brings the news you love most. Tune in on YouTube, don't miss a beat. Local stories that keep you in your feet.
Taylor House, we got the scoop. Taylor House Publishing.